Alright, so I've started up the UO client and I'm confronted with this login gump. You need to enter in the account you want to use. I'm going to use UOF tutorials. And then you enter in your password. So if this is a brand new account, you just make up your password and your account name and it will be instantly created. And then I'm going to hit enter. And now you're confronted with the shard selection, so you're going to choose UO Forever. And it's going to take you to your character creation page. So to name your character, you click here. I'm going to call this guy Steve. Names are unique on the server, so you need to, whatever you name your character here, if it's already taken in-game by someone else, you'll be confronted with a gump in the game, and I'll show you how that'll work. And so here you choose your hair selection. You got a whole bunch of different choices. I'll choose a mohawk for now. And you got your facial hair choices. So I'll choose that. Skin tone, shirt color, pants color. The only thing here you can't change later on is your skin tone. So whatever you choose, you can mess around with it. And you have here, you can choose a male character or a female character. So I'm going to make a female with a mohawk. And then you click here to go to your skill selection. So right now I'm going to make advanced. And I'm going to make an archer provoker. It's probably the easiest way to get started on the server. So I'm going to choose archery as my first skill. You do this by clicking on, click here, and then selecting the skill you want. I'll start with archery. Where's provocation? And music. And then I'm going to do healing as my last skill. Where's healing? And so as far as stats go, if you wanted to change these stats for some reason, you can like click on this and move it around and it'll change it up. Right now, I'm going to start with 10 intelligence. We'll do 30 of this. Hopefully it stays. Whatever. Doesn't matter. That's close enough. And then you click here. And click again. And you'll enter the game. Okay, so when I enter the game, I'm going to have a bunch of gumps up. This one here is telling me the young player benefits. So after dying and resurrecting, you keep everything on your body, which is huge. Normally you would just lose everything and have to go back to your body and get it, but since I'm a young player, I get to keep it. I have access to the new player dungeon, which is just southwest of Brickbank, which is good. And there's special volunteers that can come to me and help me. Young player status lasts for 9 hours of gameplay, or until you gain enough skills. And there's a tour for young players as well that you can take. And I can get rid of all these benefits if I want by saying I wish to renounce my young player status. So I'm gonna hit OK. And this is the gump to join the new player guild. So I'm gonna click OK and join. This is just a confirmation. Yeah, hit OK. This is some stuff about the new player guild. So if I want to type to other people in the new player guild, I can use / space the message I want to type. So for instance, / hello. And if I want to type an alliance chat, it'll be shift /. And if I want to resign from the guild, I can type in I resign from my guild, and I'll hit OK. So to close this gump, I'm going to right click. And because I chose a character name that's already taken, I have to click here and choose a new one. So I'm going to call this character Hi, I'm New, and hit OK. So my character is now called Hi, I'm New. So to move around in the game, you hold down right click and point your cursor where you want to go, and it'll move you around. So right now I'm going to run out of the building here. So to use anything in the game, you have to double click it. So to open these doors, I double click them with my left click, and I can walk out. Alright, so this wisp is going to be helping me. And to like close any of these gumps, I right click them, so I'll right click here and wait till the world save is done. Alright, so to move any of these gumps that are open around, I just have to left click them and drag them. So I'll move my status bar down here. So this wisp is only for new players. So I can double click this and it'll give me a bunch of different options. So I can begin the new player quest, open the central gump, which is just a bunch of stuff. I'll go over that in a later tutorial. It'll resurrect me, heal me, teleport to Westport Bank, teleport to Young Dungeon. So what I'm going to do now is start the new player quest. Alright, so it wants me to open my radar. You open that by pressing Alt-R, so that'll make it bigger. And it wants me to go to the Brittain Stables. So if I follow this arrow in the top right of my screen, it'll take me where I need to go. Alright, so I've arrived at the stables. I'm going to double click the doors to enter. I'm going to walk up to one of these NPCs and say vendor buy. Now you have to be within a few tiles of it, so it's best to get close when you say vendor buy. And then I'm going to double click the horse. I'm going to click this arrow and it's going to buy a horse. Now to get on the horse, I'm going to double click the horse and mount it. Alright, so now the arrow has changed, so I need to go down to Brittain Bank. So I'm going to go over here and open these doors and run down to the bank and just follow this arrow that's in the bottom left hand corner of my screen. Alright, so there's a bulletin board here that I need to double click on. So double click on that. I'm going to double click on this message from Adam. Alright, there's a bad dragon. Alright, so I'm going to close this by right clicking on it. Right click on this. Alright, so I need to go to the Brittain Library. And this is going to tell me where to go again. So I'm going to go up this way. Alright, so it's telling me to go in here. Alright, so I'm going to double click on this guy here. Oh, there's a dragon. You need to get him an enchanted smith's hammer and a longsword. With that, I can craft me a sword of great power. Okay. I need to go to the blacksmith directly north. Alright, so I'm going to hit the OK on this gum. I'm going to right click on this. And I'm going to follow that arrow again, which is telling me to just go up here. Alright, so I'm going to go up to this blacksmith and type in vendor buy. Alright, so here's an enchanted hammer. I'm going to double click on this. And now I'm going to scroll down. You can either use this bar or you can click here on this arrow. And I'm going to scroll down here and find a longsword. So there's two longsword options. The one we want is this one here. You can tell the difference by the way it looks. So I'm going to accept this trade. Alright, so now I need to go back to the sage. Alright, so now I need to drag the items onto him. So I'm going to have to get right up next to him. And I'm going to click the item in my bag, which is the smith's hammer here. I'm going to click and hold down left click and drag and drop it onto him. Now he needs a longsword. Click and drag and release on him. Alright, so he's made me this item here. It says, alright, good, now I should make you. Alright, so now I need to go into the dungeon, which is down here. I'm just going to keep following this arrow on my screen. Alright, so this cave is where I go in. Alright, so this is the new player dungeon. So before I start, I'm going to press Alt plus K and open my skills menu. Another way you could do this is by clicking yourself and hitting open paper doll and then hitting skills here. So what I want to do now is pull out Provocation. So I'm going to click on the Bard tab, scroll down, I'm going to click on this and drag it to the side, and it's going to give me a button that I can click to use the skill. And I'm going to close this gum. I'll leave my paper doll open here and put my map over top of it. Alright, so to use Provocation, I double click here with my left click, and it asks me what instruments I shall play. So I'm going to click my tambourine, and now it's going to ask me what type of monster I want to entice. So I'm going to go further into the dungeon here and look for some monsters. So there's a skeleton here, and now I can pull its health bar by clicking and dragging it. I can click and drag this bar. So what I'm going to do is click the skeleton, and then I'm going to target this guy and try and make them fight each other. And I'm playing poorly, so there's no effect, but I'm gaining skills here, you can see. I'm just going to keep doing this while fighting these monsters. I can also kind of move back so that they don't just hit me the whole time and I don't take damage. Alright, so I've succeeded in starting a fight. So what I'm going to do now is enter war mode by pressing Alt plus C or clicking here, and then I'm going to double click on the Restless Soul. Because I've almost killed the skeleton and these two things are fighting, I can sit here and kill this one while they fight, and it won't hurt me. Alright, so that one's almost dead. I'm going to click back on the skeleton twice, and now I'm going to shoot the skeleton until it's almost dead. I can also pick up these arrows I've shot and put them back in my backpack if I want, because arrows are consumed, so it's going to be a resource I have to keep on me. Now I did take a little bit of damage, so I can double click these bandages and then target my health bar to heal myself, and then I'm just going to have to wait a little bit and the bandage will apply. Alright, the bandages have applied, and that skeleton's dead. So I'm just going to keep shooting this guy. Alright, so I killed him. So this skeleton body I killed here, I'm going to double click on it, and it's going to open the corpse. So there's a bunch of money on it, which I want, because it's going to buy me stuff. So I'm going to click on it and drag, and because it's a stack of items, it's going to give me how many of that I want to pull, and I want to pull them all, so I'm going to hit OK. Now, a faster way of doing this would be to hold Shift and click and drag the stack, and it'll just automatically drag the whole stack. This skeleton also had a bone helmet on it, so I'm going to click and drag that and put it in my paper doll, and now I've got a piece of armor. Now I'm going to do the same thing here, see what this guy has, and it's only got some gold, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to move on through the dungeon, just following this and going on my map, and eventually I should end up where the dragon is. Another way of pulling monster bars is by holding Control Shift at the same time, and then clicking and dragging these little kind of context bars. So again, I'm going to provoke these two here. Alright, I succeeded. And I'm just going to stay in combat and shoot them. I think I'm going to try and kill the zombie first, though. So I'm just going to double click its bar and shoot him while they fight. Alright, so that's almost dead. I'm going to attack the Restless Soul. Essentially, I want them to die at relatively the same speed so that they're not attacking me when they're done fighting each other. Alright, I'm going to attack the zombie. Kill this guy. Alright, so I killed them both. And once again, I'm going to loot them. Take their gold. And their arrows. Alright, so before I get too far in here, I'm going to go buy some more arrows. Let's see how many I have left. If I click it, I can see I have 13. So I'm going to run back out of this dungeon here. And I'm going to run over here to the revisioner. Now open the doors. Say vendor buy. Alright, this guy doesn't have any arrows, unfortunately. So another place to buy arrows from is the bow crafter. So he's located over here. Hopefully he's got some. Nope. Okay. Oh, no big deal. I'm gonna go back into the dungeon and I'm gonna keep killing stuff. Really scratch that. I'm gonna go into the healer here. I'm gonna train some skills with my gold. So I can click on the healer. Just click on him once. And I guess this guy's got it. So I'm gonna click on him. I'm gonna train anatomy. So I can give him 398 gold. So I'm going to click and drag once and select 398, type that in, hit enter, and drop it on him. And that's going to increase my anatomy. I'm going to do the same thing with healing. 175. Okay. There we go. And now my healing's up to 50 as well. An easy way to exit combat is by just tapping tab once, and you can see my cursor is no longer highlighted red, and I'm no longer in combat. So I'm going to go up to this guy here, I'm going to click him once, I'm going to train provocation, so 148, drop it on him, and then I'm going to train music as well, 125. Alright, now I want to go back to the new player dungeon, so I'm going to double click my wisp and teleport to the young dungeon. Alright, so I'm going to open my radar by pressing Alt plus R. Press again to make it a little bit bigger, and I'm going to continue working my way through the dungeon here and hopefully find the dragon. Alright, so I found the dragon. And what I'm going to do is open my paper doll by pressing Alt plus P. I'm going to drag and drop this bow into my backpack. And I'm going to equip this glass sword by dragging and dropping it onto my paper doll. Now I'm going to enter combat by pressing Alt plus C. And double click this dragon. And I'm going to hit it. I killed it. Alright, so now I'm going to double click the corpse and take the items out of it. It's got a magic bow. That's cool. I'm going to take this armor and put it on my paper doll. And because the zombie's hitting me, I'm going to double click the band-aids and heal myself. And then I'm going to continue trying to kill this stuff. So I'm going to try and provoke the zombie here onto the slime, and I succeeded. I'm going to put this magic bow I just got in my hand and go into combat and shoot this thing. So I just got poisoned, which isn't really that big of a deal because it doesn't do a whole lot of damage in this dungeon, so I'm not too concerned with it. But I will apply some bandages anyways. So I'm going to double click the bandages and click my bar. And I'm going to loot this thing as well. And this whole time these two things have been fighting. They don't really do much damage to them, but they don't hit me, so that's good. And I cured myself from my bandages, so I'm no longer poisoned. and double click and heal myself. If you die as a young player, you've got a couple options to get rezzed. So first I'm going to double click this wisp, and it's going to give me the option to res. So I could just res right here, but these things would most likely attack me, so I'm not going to do that. Normally a smart decision would be to run around this corner here and res over here, and that way they won't instantly attack you, so I could heal myself up. If you're not a young player and you've been playing for a little bit, you have to res elsewhere. So I'm going to teleport to Root Bank, pretend I don't have this wisp. So what I would have to do is run over here towards the healer, where I bought anatomy and healing earlier. And if I run up to one of the healers there, they'll offer me a resurrection. Then I can press Alt plus I to open my inventory, and double click a bandage, and heal myself to full.